If this change goes through in its current state, it's going to be a crazy meta shift with PUBG. Overnight, a crazy meta shift. PUBG update 36.1 is here. Here's the TLDR. Ranked has 2 new tiers added, Crystal and Survivor. Survivor is meant for like the top 5, top 10, top 50 players in the world, or of that region, I should say. And then Crystal is somewhere in between like Platinum and Gold. It's like one of the middle high ranks they put in there. Ranked Duo mode is added with an asterisk. Ranked Duo FPP is not available in North America, but I do believe Ranked Duo TPP is available in North America, which is unfortunate because our region, that specifically on PC, plays really primarily FPP. Anywho's, tiers and RP unified across party types. Ranked play points rewards have been improved, and this is the biggest point of contention that I've seen everywhere on Twitter, especially from a lot of the esports and pro players. The recall system, red zones, EMT gear, zip lines, C4, and other, which you would call maybe gimmicky items, have been added to ranked. And not only have they been added to ranked, they're added to the esports lobby, which means if you watch any of the professional players play for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they are going to be playing with all these new items, which is a lot of RNG. We have a new black market crafter pass available with 4 returning progressive skins. That's the MP5K, the M4, the SLR, and the Car 98, and 4 new chroma variants. And we've got new skins, a new vehicle skin, new clothing skins, and all kinds of new stuff in the store. We'll cover all that. In terms of gunplay updates, the AUG has a damage nerf and an aim punch reduction. So this is an overall nerf to the AUG. BSS has a big buff. The muzzle brake has a small buff. Nothing crazy, but it did get a little bit of a buff. This, now, what I'm about to say is not live yet. DMRs are going to be rebalanced by reducing their rounds per minute, their rate of fire, and the damage of all DMRs, excluding the Mark 14, and I believe the VSS is excluded from this as well. But this is going to be in the Gunplay Labs test, where you can load up the Arcade Intense Battle Royale mode and test this new mode out. So more to come on that. Spawn changes for various weapons, we'll cover all that as well. Okie doke, so this is live now for PC. It'll be live June 19th for console. There's a whole map service thing. I'll cover that later. Basically, the TLDR for map service is each region is going to have its own map rotation plan. So it's kind of catered to whatever the region prefers, which I think is a good overall change. Just for an example, North America is going to have Tago and Erangel as our permanent fixed maps. Since those are the 2 most popular maps, then we'll have 3 other maps rotate. Other regions will have a similar sort of setup, just depending on that region's preference. Ranked is going to get an ALM skin. That's the skin you can earn if you get at least a gold level rank by the end of the season, all the way up to the brand new mastery level. These are the recall items and repair kits and all that kind of stuff being added to esports and ranked mode, BRDM. Tactical packs, all the tactical gear. Match log is even being added to ranked. There's a lot of stuff with ranked in esports, a lot. And admittedly, I don't play much ranked. You know, I play maybe 1 day of ranked games every season, just enough to get gold and get one of these skins. So I'm not the best person to be speaking on like how it's going to play out in terms of how the rank should feel and esports should feel. But if you go look on Twitter, all of the esports players that I've seen are coming out and saying this is very, very, very bad for competitive integrity. And I have to just honestly agree with them, because for esports, all of these things basically introduce another layer of RNG, and it's just overall confusing as to PUBG's direction, because they said on one set of patch notes and dev letters that they want to kind of streamline and merge normal to esports, but the way they were doing it previously is they were taking esport things and bringing them into normal. This is flipping it the other way, taking a lot of normal mode things and bringing them into esports, which is adding, like I said, a lot more RNG. And RNG is really bad for competitive integrity. So not sure how this is going to play out. We'll see. Here's all the new tiers for ranked. The number of survivors, like North America, we're a very small region. So you're literally going to have top 5 players in North America are going to be allowed to reach the survivor top tier. They'll probably be cheaters until they get banned, but Other regions have 50, 100, etc. Console is going to have 50 for North America. So that just goes to show you way more console players play ranked than on PC for North America, which is interesting. Previous season rewards was the Lynx AMR, which I have that. I can show you guys that one in just a minute. Let me see. Do they say anything about parachutes? So they're changing the ranked rewards. We already covered this stuff, but let me just see if they said anything about parachutes. The ranked parachute skin is now a tier reward available. Oh, it is right there. Okay, got it. Available to players who have reached gold tier or higher. Oh, so okay, if anyone reaches gold tier or higher, you'll get the parachute. Gotcha. Okay. Duo mode added for all regions. Solo mode removed in Asia. This is for ranked. Again, FPP duo was not an NA. Only TPP duo is in NA, which is unfortunate. Gunplay. Okay, so here's some fun stuff. The AUG, which was undoubtedly the most OP, most overused weapon in general in PUBG, is getting a nerf. This should not be a surprise to anybody, although I was surprised to see some people, a lot of veteran players even in PUBG on Twitter, kind of taken aback by this change. They weren't really sure why it was happening. It makes perfect sense to me. This is like clearly the best assault rifle in the game. Fastest bullet velocity, lowest time to kill, all that kind of stuff. So it's getting a nerf. What I don't agree with is what they're nerfing. So number one, they reduce the damage by 1 bullet. That's not going to make a big difference. 1 damage per bullet is not going to be that big of a deal. Most people honestly won't even notice that on the AUG, especially at your close range fights. Where this starts to become more of an issue is long range fights, when you have that damage drop off. So if you're doing like 150 meter sprays or something like that, you might notice that, but close range, you're not really going to notice it. The aim punch reduction by 50%. This is like, I hate this on so many levels because number one, I don't like the new aim punch changes that they made, 2 patches ago. Nobody likes the aim punch changes they made 2 patches ago. And they're already using it as a way that they can quote unquote balance guns. So they across the board increased aim punch for every gun, right? Every gun got increased aim punch, and SMGs got a lot. Shotguns got more, bolties got more, but now they're going to individually dial back certain weapons to help nerf those weapons. And so if you don't understand what this line reads, this is not recoil. This is when you get shot by this weapon. If you get hit by the AUG, you are going to receive 50% less aim punch. Aim punch is where it's going to shake, or your aim is going to be shifted. Your aimer is going to be shifted 50% less than the previous patch, which means you'll be able to return fire more consistently against someone who has an AUG. This is such a silly way to balance this gun, in my opinion. The obvious solutions would be things like damage per bullet, rate of fire, and bullet velocity. Those 3 should be the metrics that you tweak. And of course, the amount of recoil the gun has, you can obviously adjust that too, which is a big thing. So this is live now. If you play PUBG today on PC, you're going to play with this nerf. I don't think many people are going to see a big difference. Maybe this might push some people towards the barrel because, the barrel will still be the higher damage per bullet gun, and it's going to give way more aim punch to its enemies. However, I think the deciding factor here is the fact that for the most part, 90% of the players go with 5.56 DMRs, and when you pick up a 5.56 DMR, you're more than likely to pick up a 5.56 assault rifle to go with it. And of course, the best 5.56 assault rifle is the AUG. Now I'll do some more testing to compare this to the M4 and the SCAR. Now that their damages are kind of more aligned, the SCAR actually has more damage but has a lower rate of fire, so lower damage per second. But I still think because of this very fast bullet velocity, it's like 870 or 880 meters per second. Good grief. I'm an engineer, by the way. That's still going to make that dominant. VSS got a big buff, like big buff, from 43 to 45 damage per bullet. And this is the big thing. Muzzle velocity has been increased from 330 meters per second to 430 meters per second, which is crazy. Like 100 extra meters per second. You saw it when we just played the casual mode. Those bullets were freaking whizzing out of the VSS. It was way easier to shoot people at long range while they were moving. So this is a huge buff for the VSS. I'm all in favor of this. Not that I think the VSS was like underpowered necessarily. It was already a really powerful gun, but you were definitely at a significant disadvantage when trying to use the VSS in like duos and squads. Now this is really going to help bring it up and kind of put it more in line with those single tap fire DMRs. Yeah, because you can spray this, you can full auto it if you want to. You can put a candid sight for close range. This is going to be really, really cool. They also changed the zeroing intervals on the scope from 25 to 100 with a max up to 300. That should make it simplifying for zeroing your shots. I personally don't ever touch my zeroing thing. I just kind of use the built-in scope and just kind of eyeball it, but I know some people like the zeroing. And this is another big one. Damage fall off now starts at 50 meters instead of 0. So when you're close range shooting with the VSS, it's going to do maximum damage up to 50 meters. And then at 50 meters, it starts to fall off. So this means it's going to hit harder, further away than it did before. Really good. Muzzle brake has a slight buff. Vertical recoil control is from 8 to 10%. This makes it basically the go-to attachment over the flash hider, like for every scenario. The compensator is still going to be a little bit better than the muzzle brake, but the compensator doesn't get that screen shake reduction. So that'll be interesting to see how each weapon affects each weapon differently. So far, I've only done the AUG, the barrel, and the MP5K. You guys have seen those videos on YouTube. My next weapon that we're going to actually dial in is going to be the Ace and the M4. And this will be a fun comparison to see if this pushes that muzzle brake over the compensators, because for the previous weapons, I don't think it did. All right, moving on to spawn changes. The following weapons will now world spawn on all maps: VSS, Mini 14, Sawed-Off Shotgun, Scar L, S12K, and Vector. The following weapons will now world spawn only on their respective maps: Winchester, bye-bye Miramar, only on Karaka now. G36, only on Vikendi now. QBU, only on Sandhawk now. DP28, only on Paramo. PP Bison, only on Erangel. Mosin, only on Destin. This is crazy talk to me. I've been saying it for a bajillion years. There should be no map specific weapons in PUBG. It doesn't make any sense. It's so dumb, especially the way with most of our regions work with map selection, how we don't have map selection. You know, we have 5 maps a week and the percentages to play each of those maps differ. So, you know, just as an example, I don't like playing Paramo. So now if I continue to back out of playing Paramo, I'll never be able to play with a DP28 ever again. I'm not a big fan of playing Sandhawk. So if I don't play Sandhawk, I'll never play with the QBU again. Like, this kind of stuff doesn't make any sense to me. Winchester, one of my favorite guns in the game, is only on one of the small maps now. Like, these kind of changes, I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because it's an easy way of getting out of having to balance the weapon at the same time of making sure the loot pools aren't too diluted on their main maps. I don't think that's a good decision though. I think all weapons should spawn on all maps, and you need to work on balancing all weapons accordingly. Like, the DP28 sucks. The solution isn't putting it to a Paramo map that no one plays anyway. The solution would be buffing the DP28, balancing the weapon, and putting it on all maps. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm personally not a fan of that. Okay, moving on to other gunplay changes. So again, this change right here is not live right now. This is in the gunplay labs section. This is the DMR rebalance. If this change goes through in its current state, it's going to be a crazy meta shift with PUBG. Like, overnight, a crazy meta shift. So the DMR rebalance this is what they're suggesting to do, by the way. So they're not for sure doing this. This is their first iteration of testing. They are looking to do damage reduction of DMRs by about 12%, reducing the RPM, rounds per minute, by about 45%, except for the Dragunov and the Mark 14. So that's the rate of fire, how fast you can shoot your gun, reduce it by almost half. So however fast you think you can click your Mini 14, this change, if it went through, would reduce that by 45%. That is a crazy nerf to DMRs. I mean, an insane nerf to DMRs. I will say this. I think DMRs haven't been in the best place over the past couple of seasons. I do think the DMRs were a bit too strong, and it's not, but the reason why is not because the DMRs were too strong. I think the reason why was because of the ability to do the wiggle spam shots with like a DMR, or abusing the crouch wiggle peek bug, where you can like glitch the game into making your character appear for like a split second and get all your shots off. You know, people can abuse those kind of gameplay mechanics. And I think with those mechanics, with the wiggle spam, with the crouch lean spam, those kind of things really benefited the DMR players, because you could just constantly shoot and unpeak and shoot and unpeak. Whereas a Bolty, you can still do the wiggle shit, but you're still boom, one shot, unscope, rechamber, rescope. Then you're very delayed on your shot. So I did think something needed to be done. This seems a bit hasty. I'll jump into the labs and give it a test and do a little a video review and that kind of stuff. But this is one of those scenarios where you guys need to give feedback on, because they even say down here, we plan to run a second round of testing to gather a wider range of feedback. So if we roll back the clocks a little bit to the SMG rebalance, in March, they did the first iteration of SMG aim punch. It was terrible. Nobody liked it. I made a couple of videos showing how bad and egregious it was. But a month and a half later, they came out with round 2, which was reduced, nerfed, but it was still like a crazy amount of aim punch, and they ended up shipping that to live. I feel like they'll probably do something exactly the same here with DMRs. Patch 1 is going to be now in the labs. I'll review it. Hopefully you guys review it. We give our feedback. We're going to go, this is crazy. I think we'll probably end up something like DMR reduction 8 to 10%, RPM reduction to 25%. I think that's what we'll see on live servers in about, I'm going to say 2.5, 3 months. So by August or September, I think we'll see that nerf to DMRs. We'll see. Gunplay or red zone gameplay. Red zones are being changed a little bit. Apparently this is already on Sanhok. I didn't honestly know this. So now the later phase that you're in, like phase 5, 6, 7, the smaller the circle gets, the smaller the red zone will get with it, and the less frequent the explosions will actually land down there, which I think is overall a good change. I know a lot of people aren't happy about the red zone in general, but usually what PUBG does is they make a change getting prepared for a future change that they're not going to tell anyone about. They did that with the C4. You remember how they made the C4 where you had to place a C4 down? You can no longer throw it. Well, today we find out that now you can throw throwables from the driver's seat of a vehicle. My intuition says they specifically nerfed the C4, making it to where you couldn't throw it in anticipation of their feature update, throwing throwables out of the driver's seat so that drivers couldn't throw a C4 out of a moving car from the driver's seat. That's what I think happened there. And I think the same thing is happening here, where in anticipation of Erangel receiving the terrain destruction update, which if you don't remember, that's where the ground creates craters from explosives, from grenades, C4, RPGs, red zones, all that kind of stuff. In anticipation of the destructible ground, they're modifying the red zone a little bit so that it's not as abundant, and you're not going to have so many craters everywhere all across the map. This will help reduce the amount of those. So that's why I think they're making this change. Vehicle actions, this is what I just said. Now from the driver's seat, you can throw throwables. It's not as bad as it sounds. So when I first read this, I was like, oh, this is terrible. But just testing it out a minute ago, it's actually not that bad. And I don't think it'll be honestly that OP. Just like in this image, what your character does is he basically chucks it out the driver's side window. And you can't throw the grenade. Like you can't directionally aim where you're going to throw the grenade. You can't cook the grenade. None of that. He just literally chucks it out the window, like boom, like almost like you just did a little dump off, boom, boom. So you can do grenades, frags, flashbangs, Molotovs, smokes, etc. So I don't think this is going to be crazy overpowered. And the fact that it's not going to be crazy overpowered hopefully means it'll provide some fun situations. A couple of ways that I could see you using it would be like if a teammate gets knocked and you're driving up to go, save your teammate, you can throw a smoke grenade out of the vehicle as you're pulling up. That could be one way. Or if you have an enemy knocked and you want to do a drive-by, you can literally drive towards the smoke where the enemy's getting rezzed or where you think they're getting rezzed and dump off a blue zone grenade, a frag grenade, or whatever. So that could be cool. It says, again, limited to a fixed direction. There's no priming. You can't cook the grenade, nothing like that. In certain situations, the throwing action may be canceled. Maybe if you're flipping the vehicle over in the air. I haven't really tested it, but there's probably something to do with that. The vehicle's movement speed now affects the throw distance. So this is interesting. So apparently, depending on how fast you're going in the vehicle, is going to determine how far forward the grenade's going to kind of go with the physics of the vehicle, which makes sense. Handguns can now be used from the driver's seat of a watercraft. Okay. Flare guns, zipline, and M79 cannot be used. I don't understand why. I think you should definitely be able to use the smoke launcher from a driver's seat. That makes a lot of sense. Inflatable boat handguns cannot be used while the boat is moving. Okay. You can throw melee weapons from the driver's seat. Wait, you can now throw melee weapons from the driver's seat of a motorbike, scooter, snowmobile, quad. Oh, really? Melee throws and attacks are also available from non-driver seats from the bikes as well. Wow. Okay, that's kind of fun. So you could actually drive by, pan somebody from the motorbike or something. That could be fun. There's some console key bindings to accompany all these changes. So if you're on a console and controller, pay attention to those. The maximum speed has been reduced for most vehicles. For maximum reverse speed, we tested the UAZ. I believe it was like 25 kilometers per hour is the reverse speed. Honestly, I have no idea why this is a thing. Apparently, what the dev's saying, many players have pointed out that reversing into compounds has been an overly powerful tactic. Like crashing a compound, putting in reverse, Terry. I've never had that happen to me. Like I've never been crashed in slow motion in reverse. Apparently many players have. And so there you go. Vikendi has vending machines and destructible pots added. Okay. All right. Team Deathmatch, they took out the Suburbia map. I believe that was the close range, 2-story, 3-story kind of house looking area from Rondo. Intense Battle Royale has the supply drop item adjustment changes. You can now get panzers and mortars. Okay. All right. Matchmaking. They've added back same language team finder for console. That's good. Applies to normal match, unavailable for featured map or casual map. Okay. Workshop changes. So new skins. Yeah. Black market. We'll go over that in a minute. Workshop overview page and regular crafting. The maximum items you can disassemble is from 10 to 50. That's really good. So they increased how many you can bulk disassemble. That's good. A warning message will pop up if you have any special stuff. Okay, got it. Also, as a reminder, if you do happen to salvage any of your stuff on accident and you want it back, go watch my video on how to recover skins in PUBG. You can do that for free. There's a brand new crafter pass, the Black Market Progressive Chroma Skin Pass. We'll cover that in just a minute. There's free reward improvements. Ooh. As announced, there's going to be a lot more stuff that you can buy with BP in the roadmap. So there'll be some new skins you can buy. You can choose to buy with Gcoin or with BP. That's good. Very good. New daily free missions to complete to get BP up to 23,000 every week. That's a lot of BP. They're increasing the amount of rewards you get from arcade mode. That's good. This is a big one. This is in small fine print, but this is actually a big one. With Hideout or with update 36.1, when you're in the Hideout, opening up the contraband creator code CDome crates. Previously, the only way you can get scrap is by opening crates up with Gcoin. Now, you get scrap even if you open a crate up with the free contraband coupons. So what this means is technically you can now open up as many free crates as you can assemble coupons, and eventually you'll have enough scrap to buy a progressive weapon for free. It'll take a long time because you only get 10 scrap per crate and you need 10 coupons per crate. So it's a shitload of BP you would need. But this is a very good change, giving players in-game currency for using other free in-game currency. That's very good. Custom matches. Assist UI has been added. Okay, I don't know what the hell that is. Based on feedback, we've made improvements to various customized features. Okay. Sorting and filter options have been added to help you find items you own. Oh, good. Okay. You can now find these in customized, character, wardrobe, and customized weapon pages. Okay. These features are also available in the workshop, regular crafting, hideout, salvage. Oh, nice. You can now exchange event tier items for 1 BP. One BP? That's a slap in the face. Settings. Hide nicknames kill feed has been renamed to hide player nicknames. Okay. This is if you turn this setting on, everyone's name is like Player Unknown's Battlegrounds or whatever. UI stuff. Improve stability around the Erangel ferry and Vikindi train and cable car. Oh, okay, good. That's cool. Gameplay bug fixes. Certain wheels could not be destroyed with punches. Oh, good. This is a good change. So now you can actually punch out all the tires properly. Casting animations look unnatural. Players do not take damage while inside the blue zone. Shit. Character movement appears unnatural when thrown in melee. Okay. Reviving a teammate does not complete after the timer expires, causing the character attempting the revive to become stuck. Oh, I'm glad they fixed that. Attempting to crouch in a specific destroyed area causes players to fall to the ground. Wow, that sounds like an OG bug. Like a 2017 PUBG bug. Fix an issue where emergency cover airdrop does not drop when using the cover flare. Okay. Flipping issues, skin. Okay, there we go. So that is a complete review of all the patch notes. Again, the TLDR is AUG nerf, not a crazy nerf, but it is a nerf. BSS buff, muzzle brake buff, DMR, huge DMR nerf is not live. It's in the gunplay labs section. Get in there and test it out. If you play ranked mode, there's a lot of changes to ranked. Basically, all of the RNG stuff, all the gimmicky stuff from normal modes is now in ranked. And there's a bunch of new store items and black market stuff we'll go cover in a second. So there you go. You are the new Wacky Jackie. Hey, what's up, buddy? Thanks for the 2-month resub. Let's grouch, baby. You know Wacky Jackie's still around, guys. He's just working a lot. But he's still involved in the PUBG community. Involved with PUBG. He has his, that PUBG weapon stat site that I use all the time. PUBGweapons.com. Don't forget about our boy. He's still around, all right? But I appreciate it, man. Thank you.